it was every month that I was in the hospital for 2-3 weeks. And they just couldn't figure it out. So they would shoot me up with prednisone and stuff like that. That would bring down the swelling. And I was good for a good 2, 3, 4 days. And then it goes right back up.
Connect with us on the Emotion Wellness Podcast for a transformative journey of human connection. Witness personal stories, improve your mental health education, and acquire valuable resources for optimizing your well-being. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.
Welcome to the Emotion Wellness Podcast. My name is Jason Turner. As always, I'm here with my brother, Mr. Frank Parisi.
We're here today in San Antonio, Texas, and we have a special guest all the way from Miami, Florida. Oh, man, my boy, Ricky G. Man, it's been a minute that we've been talking
about
back and forth on, and it's been amazing to watch your journey.
And yours as well.
Yeah, man. And I'm just so grateful to have him on the podcast today.
I'm grateful to be here, and I'm honored to be here with both of you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm looking forward to, I trust Frank implicitly. So when he tells me about the guests, I'm curious by nature, and I'm a therapist by, my profession. So I tend not to do a lot of research. I'll just ask questions. And so I've picked up a little bit of what's going on, and I know that Frank has a new heart, but his spirit's always been the same. I have a feeling it's gonna get woo woo and.
Yeah, today's gonna be. Yeah. I mean, there might be. I don't know. We're gonna just see where God takes this today. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Yeah. We're going to see where God takes this. But I had today for our audience because I was on the phone with my brother Redman. Shout out to Redman today. I was on the phone. You said you're coming on the podcast. So because of that, we have the Red and Met hat. So, and in honor of hip hop, we also have Ricky, who is, we're going to get into that. He's a big part of hip hop and the whole culture. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, my brother.
Hey, I'm honored to be here, man.
Yeah. So give us a little background about you, bro. Like where you're from, a little background about Ricky. Let the audience know a little bit about you.
Yeah, I come from Cuban parents. I was born in Chicago, raised in Miami. In the 90s, I was like the rock star when it came to tattooing. I went on tour with many big groups, Hard Knock Tour Life with Method Man and Redman, the Budweiser Fest with Bone Thugs and Harmony, Drew Hill, Mary J. Blige, Genuine, you name it.
Dope.
Back in the 90s, I was all over the place. Backstreet Boys, I'm even in their book, Back in Blue. So many things I did back in the 90s, and then I had my little problems in 2000s.
What inspired you to become a tattoo artist?
I always drew as a kid. That was my outlet. I didn't have the best, even though I had great parents, loving parents, both of them in the household. They did everything that they could do, but they didn't speak the language, so they had minor jobs, factory workers and so forth. So we didn't have the things that, normally most kids had or whatever. So my lifestyle, at that time was very poor and stuff, and it was really hard to deal with a lot of stuff being a kid. Now I understand.
And this is down in Miami.
Yeah, this is in Miami.
Yeah.
And my dad actually took us away from Chicago because my older brothers were getting into trouble and stuff with the gangs and stuff like that. So he took us out of there and brought us to Miami. But Miami was, even though there was no gangs or anything like that at the time, it was still, little cliques and groups and stuff, and it was bad. I was around prostitution, drugs, all that stuff growing up. So art was my outlet when I didn't want to be in the street, or I didn't want to engage in those things. My heart was never a gangster, even though I grew up around gangsters. my heart was never a gangster. I was always a good guy inside.
Oh, wow.
Unlike you, Frank. Just saying.
I think I was a product of the environment of what I was raised.
I
in,
just saw
you know
that.
what
That's
I
what
mean?
it is.
Yeah, and my dad was my dad was a great man.
Yeah.
You know, but he was who he was. You know, so you follow suit in what you see in life. You know, I'm like, you know, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I come from the same as you, brother. Like I grew up in the '80s, early '80s, late '70s, Lower East Side Manhattan, crack cocaine.
Yeah.
The block. You know, it was
Horrible.
wild. Yeah, I mean, I watched grown men as a kid getting their head.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time. Literally, got their head split open with baseball bats, like normally. Like that's a normal day to day. It's not normal.
When I started hanging out with the rappers, that's when I started seeing a lot of craziness, like compared to Miami.
What got you into like? Okay, so you get into art, then you get into tattooing. How did you get into the hip hop scene? Like, how did you get into? Because I mean, being like you
My
tattooed
mentor.
some of the greatest icons.
My mentor. I was always in art. I was always involved in art, but I also did acting. I also was a dancer. So I did a lot of stuff, anything that had to do with creativity.
Love it.
That's what I was about. So around 1992, 93, I met a gentleman. Well, I'd known him from school and stuff, but we became like real close. And I started looking up to him, and he was doing tattoos at the time. He's a little older than me, a guy named Rob G. That's how I got my name, Ricky G.
Ah.
So he started taking me under his wing. He had a group at that time that he used to go on tour with Two Life Crew. And they used to open up for them. It was called Mentally Disturbed was their group. And I was like a backup dancer in the
get out of here.
scene.
Oh,
And you know,
yeah,
just doing stuff with
Yeah.
that. Then he fell into the tattooing and got me more involved in the tattooing, and I got more serious on the tattooing. But he was already connected on the inside as far as hip hop. So you know, we were going New York, Boston, North Carolina, South Carolina. We were going everywhere, and most of the places were illegal at the time. My biggest money that I ever made tattooing was in Boston. Boston was illegal till the 2000s. You had to go to Providence to get tattooed back then.
Get out of here.
That's where I'm from. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was around the time that Paul Pierce stabbed
I remember
the
that.
guy at the party.
Yeah.
I was being flown in from U.S. Airway pilots that their base was in Boston. So they used to do tattoo parties. And this is with the cops and everything. So it would be in the Jamaican plains in Boston in this basement. And the basement's built like a nightclub, basically. And I'm in a little corner. This other girl that we had in our group was in a corner, and Rob was in a corner, and we were just tattooing away. And it was,
cool
you
story.
charge whatever you want because they don't want to go to Providence to go pay for
To
the
go
tattoo.
pay for the tattoos.
Yeah.
Wild. I never knew that. That's wild.
New York was the same way. But New York, you used to have like codes in the basements. You know, you would knock and you have a special knock, and they would know that you were allowed, almost like trafficking drugs.
Wow.
So it was the same feeling, but not the same thing, not the same penalty.
Yeah. So now you're tattooing, like you get in. So what drew, like obviously your art must have been so dope that it was drawing
Yeah,
all the icons to you.
Yeah, we were creating because I've always been a storyteller, so that's where my heart is in my art. So when you give me a subject, let's say you tell me, "Hey Rick, I'm going through this. I want you to draw something for me I go to town. I do a little research on you, and I go to town and I create something that's really bonded with you, with who you are as a person. And that's what drew the clients to me. It wasn't so much about the pretty picture. A lot of artists used to hate on me and stuff. Oh, who this kid thinks he is. I'm a better artist than him. but it was that connection that I had with the artist, because I was able to develop what they wanted. It wasn't a pretty picture. Half the time, you've seen their tattoos on, and half of their tattoos don't look great, but they all have a special meaning, and they all look great to them because of the meaning and the bond that we had while we were creating.
Dope.
Same thing with my art right now. Before I went into the hospital, I was creating art that was just like replicas, like Van Goghs and Dalis and stuff like that, because those are artists that inspired me. But it wasn't until I ended up with, which we'll talk about later, that situation that I went through a revelation in the hospital that changed the whole way of my mindset. I even came out, while I was in there, I wrote a book of a little girl called Little Miss Puting. And I have all the illustrations and everything. I just haven't published it yet.
Well, let's bring that. We brought that up, man. So you have this great career, tattoo career, right?
Yeah.
Bring us back. Like, what happens with because like most people are probably listening, like that they probably think you're on for your accolades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know
Now in 2004. I was really getting burned out, and I was always tired. I was starting to have like swelling in my body. Doctors started saying that it was arthritis. Don't worry about it. You're young. You got no issues. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. So I blew it off. I kept going. 2011 came around. It got to the point that I couldn't tattoo, because my arms would be so swelled up and my body be so swelled up, I couldn't actually.
This is over 7 years.
Yeah.
Like inflamed or literally swollen?
Swollen.
Oh, wow.
Swollen and painful. Really, really, really painful.
What were they telling you?
They were saying that the symptoms were like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, right? But I tested negative for all of that.
Were they treating you for that?
They ended up treating me for rheumatoid arthritis. Started with me on every medication you can think of for rheumatoid arthritis. None of them worked. Finally, they put me on this thing called Humira.
How many years were they experimenting with
2011 to 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went through eight to nine rheumatologists, different, because I was always trying to, there's something, you guys are missing something. You know, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm feeling, because they made it seem like if I was that word is hypochondriac or something, you know, because it was every month that I was in the hospital for 2-3 weeks, and they just couldn't figure it out. So they would shoot me up with prednisone and stuff like that. That would bring down the swelling. And I was good for a good 2, 3, 4 days. And then it goes right back up.
Was there a moment, it's like with both, you know, Frank's story and yours, like there's a theme of, I know my body, something's, and then you guys aren't being heard, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're not being validated.
Yes.
And it's this, I think it's prevalent. I think it happens. I'm not saying it always happens, but it's very common. Was there a moment where you came across a provider, a doctor who was like, let me really listen to you? Like, how did it go from, you know what I'm saying? Like, what switched from like, they're just thinking you're crazy and nobody's really paying attention to, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking there's sometimes somebody comes along that's a little bit different and sees things differently and says, like, what was the moment where it was like, oh.
2023.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Yeah.
12 years you suffered with this inflammation.
I was trying to get with the rheumatologist that is treating me now, which he's the one that saved my life. But he was so booked, and he's the only one in Cleveland Clinic. Well, at that time, he was the only doctor in residence there, and he didn't have no appointments available to see me. So I kept going to other ones that people, like I said, I went through 8, 9, maybe even more rheumatologists till I ended up in that hospital bed that changed my life. which it could have gone either way that they.
So Ricky, they were treating you for 12 years with different medications and and you were just suffering through this for 12 years.
12 years. I went in 2015. I was at a student hospital, UF, Shands Hospital in Gainesville. They stuck me in a room with like 8 people. I was in the hospital, but I was like an experiment for them. So they would bring in these young doctors, 16, 17 of them at a time around my bedside. They would ask me the same questions over and over and over again, but no solutions. The only solution that they figured out, which I think it was a mistake in my part to let them do it, was take out my gallbladder. My gallbladder wasn't bad. So now I'm suffering of stuff that I'm eating because the gallbladder is like the filter, which I could have just gone on a gallbladder cleanse and fixed that.
While you're going through this, what, how do you maintain your mental health, right? How do you stay moving forward? Because so many people, I think, encounter. I mean, that's a long time to endure, right? And so, every amazing story, I'm curious around, like, what was we call it mindset, but what were the things that got you through each day to, like, keep the fight up and to not give up, right? What was?
My kids, my wife, my family. I was.
How old are your kids?
Well, now they're 26 years old is my daughter, and 20 years old is my son. But I also was a caretaker to my parents and my wife's parents. So I just lost my mom a week ago.
I'm sorry about that. I know.
Thank you. But I was with her to the very end. Same thing with my dad. My dad actually died right holding my hands, told me what a great son I was. And stuff right before he went, and they made a mistake with him. I think my dad would have lived even more. Even though he died at 94, he was solid. He was a solid, hardworking guy. So he didn't misuse drugs. He didn't have any, real bad things. And he was building a fence, actually, in our farm in North Florida at the time when he went into the hospital. And they told him the same thing, his gallbladder. So here they are taking out the gallbladder of a 94-year-old man, putting him under anesthesia and surgery. And, my dad's a grown man. He was mentally sane. So he couldn't, I couldn't step in and say, hey, you can't do this. He just wanted the pain to go away because he had like gallstones, like real big gallstones all through his gallbladder. That was causing such a bad acid reflux that it was bothering him. But when he got out, they don't allow you usually in the OR. They had the doctors had to come and get me in the OR because the anesthesia had him so bad that he was ripping all his stuff off of him and they couldn't control him. I was the only one that was able to control him at the time. So they brought me in the room. I calmed him down and we started rehabbing him little by little. But then with all the stuff that they were giving him, his blood sugars were all over the place. And what ended up happening was his blood sugar dropped so bad, he went into one of those comas, a diabetic coma. And that's how he ended up passing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, the medical
profession is... So it sounds like meaning and purpose, being committed to people outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's the... And you brought up earlier, but we were talking about it, it's storytelling is powerful, right? So you're an artist using creative pictures, right?
Yeah.
And then I think about in our work in mental health field with addiction, we focus a lot on the story. And you said the word, what really, the component of the story that's the potency or where the power is the meaning, it's like you even said it. It's like that's what drew the artist to you, right? And when we see people get better and we see people get sick, oftentimes with trauma, with wellness, it's the meaning. It's like, what does it mean about me?
What does it mean?
And I've created this identity and this definition. And so I just found that to be really beautiful in the sense that it stretches across so many disciplines, whether it be art or mental health treatment, or you have the story that you're telling or writing or creating, and then you have the meaning of that story, and that has profound impact on us as human beings.
Absolutely. Yeah. It all combines together. If you really think about it, there was a moment in the hospital. It was March 13th. My oxygen level, I was really being kept alive by basically the high flow thing, and they had the mask on
what year is this?
Huh?
What year?
23.
Okay. What brought you? What made you go to the hospital?
I couldn't breathe.
You couldn't breathe.
I couldn't breathe. I had like a bad cough. I didn't know what was going on, and finally I was trying to hold on because I thought I was gonna shake it off like I normally do, and my wife's like, "Listen, why are you scared to go to sleep?" Because I wasn't sleeping. I was scared that I would die if I would go to sleep because I wasn't breathing. She didn't understand because she's not living or understanding what I'm going through or what I'm feeling. So I went and I took myself to the hospital that morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. They started running around. They started doing checks. When they did my chest x-ray, that's when everything happened. I went in, I did my chest x-ray. Next thing you know, I started feeling dizzy, and I went into like a tunnel vision. I saw the little white light and everything that people say, but I didn't see like the coming of Jesus or any of that stuff that people say. I just saw a white light and I blanked out. And then while after, the next day, I was like to myself, but I wasn't. I could see it was like if I was trapped in my own body. I could see, hear, and everything. I just couldn't answer back to anybody. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move my arm. It was like I was paralyzed. And my wife was crying I'll never forget, my wife was crying at the edge of the bed. And the doctor was telling him, listen, you need to prepare everything in order. If we put him on the ventilator, he's not going to make it. He's done. And then the pulmonary team came in and they said, well, we're going to put an IV on his neck. We're going to pump steroids through the other side of his neck. And with a tube, they were going to take out, because both of my lungs were filled with blood, complete. So they were going to take the blood out of that. And that's when the rheumatologist got involved. And he said, hold on. That's not what he has. I've seen this before. Let's run this test, this test, this test. If he wouldn't have done that, I don't know if I would be talking to you guys right now. That's why I tell you that guy is really special to me.
Yeah, thank God he was there. What was the final diagnosis?
Vasculitis. So I have a rare blood disease. My brother just died a year ago. He never checked himself out. He was like my dad, a hard worker, but he didn't believe in doctors and he was scared of doctors. So he never got checked out. Me, I feel any little thing in my body and I'm running and getting checked out and seeing what it is. That's just how it's been. I want to live. But my brother wasn't. And by the time they got to him, it was already too late. He ended up from the blood thing that he had, it ended up being prostate cancer as well. So that's what ended up killing him.
Man.
Wow.
So what's the treatment for the
vasculitis? I'm doing rituximab. Doing chemo infusions 2 every 6 months for the next 5 years. That's the treatment for right now.
And have you seen good results? Dramatic? Is it?
I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
I'm not in pain. I haven't felt this good since 2011. I still haven't been able to work out because it's too much still. You know, they don't want to put that stress on my body yet, but I'm getting there. I'm doing a lot of cycling. I'm walking a lot. I do a lot of meditation. Walking is my reset for everything. Even when I got too much stuff going on in my head, you know, too many thoughts and creative, I'll get out the house and I'll just walk. And once you start seeing the landscaping and everything from it just stops whatever you were thinking about, and you're already on another.
Oh yeah, there's a process in our brain that walking forward creates creativity and problem solving. So it engages that aspect of our brain.
So that's a big help.
Yeah, you're spot on. In fact, one of my guy that helps me run the business day to day, we had to go through a problem solving scenario. And so on yesterday morning, we went downtown and we rucked. So we put weight on our back and we walked 5 miles while we had a staff meeting. So that's how much it, our whole basis here is physiology, movement, and making sure that people are active, because it's a core concept for wellness.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be super intense. It's just walking is incredible.
And I've noticed as of late, even the food that it's a big difference. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've been lying to us for that's a whole other show.
100%. The food changes everything.
That's a whole other show. Yeah.
Yes. So let me ask you this: when you left, right? You paid.
Yeah, I left. I left completely.
What was that like for you? What do you remember?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't remember anything. I remember waking up, and like I said, my wife was there crying. My best friend was crying. He was telling me, don't worry, you're going to get out of this. You know, I got your back, you know, through all this. You know, you don't have to worry about anything else. You know, your family, I'm going to take care of them. And he's a real guy.
Brother.
And
I feel you.
It was hard. And I didn't know. March 13th, as I was telling you, I ended up having, which I did a painting for it. It's called Battle with Christ. It was 3:00 in the morning. And I'm having a panic attack. I have 20% of my own oxygen, you know, that I'm breathing. The rest is all machines. And the alarms, I'm in ICU in a glass bowl, like a fish bowl, and I got a guy sitting outside watching me the whole time because they're watching our progress, because they're trying to get us out of ICU as fast as they can. But I was already in there 18 days at the time. And the Pulmonary team comes running in because the alarms start going off. And this lady, she came to me and she said, listen, I can't mix, because I was arguing with the Lord. I was in the bed. I was tuned out of whatever was going on, and I was just fighting. And why are you doing this to me? You know, I done this, I done that. I've kept myself, straight and this and that. Why me? Why do I deserve this? So it was that battle. And then she came in and she said, listen, I can't mix my religion with my science degree. But my husband's a pastor, and he's telling me I need to pray for you. And God's telling me I need to pray for you. She went and she said, do you mind if I pray for you? I said, no, absolutely. Mm. She started praying. She said maybe like 7 different little prayers all over. I calmly went to sleep. I woke up 9:00 in the morning and took my first dump in 30 days.
Wow.
And from there, it was the recovery.
Mm. Bro, that's real.
Yeah.
You know how many people prayed for me in the hospital from around the damn country? That's real, bro.
Yeah. I had a guy named Neil. He lives in North Florida. He's a big guy in the church in Lake City. He drove all the way from Lake City, which is 6 hours, 6.5 hours. Drove all the way just to be bedside by me to pray for me.
Yeah.
And called this pastor and made the pastor pray for me. And
Yeah.
had a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Had a lot of people.
That's that good
It's
energy
powerful.
going towards us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God is good. It's funny that as he was telling, I'm like, oh, he's gonna say that his oxygen went to like 60%,
No.
and he's like, I took a dump.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, but bro, let me tell you something. I understand that too.
This is-
in my mind. It was a funny twist. You know?
No, it took me, from that moment, it took me about 15 to 16 days before I got the 80% on the oxygen. But I couldn't even walk. You know,
You gotta learn.
Are you monitoring now, like when you go to sleep and
Yeah.
stuff, like pulse oximeter? Yeah.
yeah, I'm doing good. Like as far as once the chemo starts running out, though, it's like my body's asking for it. Because 2 weeks before I do my treatment, I feel horrible again. I start going back feeling the same way that when I started in 2004. Because right now I feel great, like if I was in 2004. You know, I don't have those that pain in my body or the swelling, or I couldn't do anything. I'm telling you, I barely could think because of the pain was so severe.
Yeah, sounds wild.
So let me ask you this. So now you're in the hospital, they figure out, right? What does this look like over the past 2 years, your life? Talk to us about that. How's that been? How's the recovery been? How's the mindset been with all that? And then I want to talk about the other stuff that you're doing too.
I think I've grown stronger from it. Before I was a little bit more reckless with my life. There was a part of me that I was believing in what the doctors were telling me, that I was crazy. You know, that I wasn't. And by me going through it, it kind of said, damn, see, I'm not crazy. I did feel, what I was feeling was really happening. They just couldn't figure it out. But they didn't go overboard and check everything that they possibly could. Because this guy out of the blue, not knowing me or my history or anything, just end up in the emergency room. Oh, I know what this guy has.
Wow, it's so crazy because the same thing for me. The one doctor figured out after 5 months of them misdiagnosing me. And then even in the ICU, they're treating me for sepsis. Meanwhile, I am in heart failure. I don't even know the doctor that figured it out, but there was a doctor that told me. It was just such a blur to me, but like he figured out that my heart was failing,
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
So what has it been for you the past 2 years? Talk to us about that.
It's been really a great experience for me these last 2 years. Not only have my mind has grown like stronger, I've actually see a purpose and I see the direction. Ever since I got out of the hospital, like I said, I wrote a book while I was in there. My art changed. The way I was drawing and everything, I'm starting to do stuff from the heart, and I'm starting to reach those people that don't have the voices like myself. And that makes a big difference. When you start really touching people that you see that even are in worse shape than you are, but they got a smile from ear to ear, like they don't got nothing. It makes your problems look so small. And knowing that you're a voice for them and that you really inspire them through what you're doing makes me feel real good inside. So in these 2 years, I think I'm more grown in these 2 years than I was in the whole 50 years that I've been alive.
When you talk about your art changing, can you be a little more descriptive? Like, what do you see as the the changes from what you were doing before till now?
I'm taking what I used to do tattooing wise into paintings.
Okay.
Where before, when I started paintings, because I was never a painter, I didn't pick up painting till my best friend told me, hey, I'm about to get this beach house. I need this piece. I know you can draw. Go, I'm going to buy you the canvas and paint it for me. Mm. And I did it for him. He's like, who does that? Because I made it almost like if it was the real thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not tattooing anymore, but you need to develop that. So at that time, I was just copycatting, like I said, Dali's, Van Gogh's, and stuff like that, Bansky. And I was just taking those pieces and reproducing them. But they weren't getting no traction. I wasn't getting no love. Yeah, you can try to sell it for $100 or $500, but nobody want to pay you no money because it didn't mean anything to them. It was just a pretty picture. But when I got out of the hospital, I started taking what I used to do for the tattooing, which I used to build stories and really paint with a purpose. And now that's what I'm doing. I'm painting with a purpose. And it's really touching those lives of those people. The colors I use, the subject matters. There's hidden subliminal messages in all my work. And they all have a strong meaning.
I love that.
Amazing. So talk more about it, because we were talking before. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, I've been working a lot with children, man, because I believe, I already lived my life, right? At 52, at that time I was 50 years old. If I would have died, I already lived half of my life. I still have more years to go, obviously, but it felt okay. I'd done a lot of stuff, but these kids are like 6, 7, 9, 10 years old, and they're lucky if they live to next year or whatever. So I started really taking into that. Being that I'm a father, and I missed out a lot in my kids' life in their younger years because I was on the road a lot, tattooing. So now I take these kids, like if they're my kids, and I'm taking them under my wing, and I'm working with different foundations, donating my art, getting money for them. I'm helping them learn how to take that anxiety and their emotions and stuff and put it in a painting. These kids draw with colors and stuff to express what they're feeling. And it's like, okay, now you're telling the story. So the first foundation I worked with was a company called Miami Power. And we did kids that don't have limbs. They're disabled kids, but some don't even have like months to live. Their disease is so progressed. So some of them are so poor, they've never gone to Disney World or that. So I took a master class and I started teaching them. The ones without limbs, I would teach them how to paint with their teeth solely and stuff, and they started doing art. Then after we finished the art, we sell the art. We auction all the kids' art there. So the kids get to actually sell the art, right there and receive the money and do whatever they want with their money. And it's a great feeling for them because they're like, cool. Wow, I accomplished something.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
It's like a milestone for them because they're used to being just in a hospital bed all day and stuff. There was one kid I remember, his mom was always in a chair next to his bedside because she never left his bedside. But the chair was uncomfortable. They couldn't afford a recliner. So he took the money that he made from his paintings and bought her a recliner.
Wow.
It was amazing. Here he is. He needs the money for his thing. But his heart told him that he needs to take care of his mother.
How beautiful.
It's beautiful.
How beautiful.
And just last week, I did another big foundation, Supreme Twins Foundation. I did a master class, and these kids they have like autism, speech problems, very high active, different kinds of autism, Down syndromes and stuff like that. And these kids had a blast. They were connecting with me. They follow me, so it's awesome that they see, oh, I'm painting with this guy. Not that I'm anything, but to them, I'm a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the most rewarding. And at the end, I got surprised by this one little girl. She said she made those little palettes that you use to paint the paintings, to put the paint on. She painted a whole thing of all the kids on the thing, and says colors show the emotions of the heart. And each shirt that she drew on the kid, it was the heart of each of the students that were there that day. And it was amazing. She put me to tears and everything. It was amazing feeling.
The best.
Yeah.
Super, super dope.
And I always say, it's like, it's never a victim in life, bro. It's never why me. It's why not me. It's always what's the gift in what I'm going through and what am I going to become because of it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you that. What's the gift in what you went through, brother?
The gift is, I used to go out and try to please everybody. And I used to try to go out to like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I realized none of that matters.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. When you do it from your heart, when you really do it from your heart, the accolades don't mean nothing.
Yes.
The feeling, the warmth that you receive in your soul, and the blessings that come from it. Because you're so blinded, and almost like a narcissist type situation where it's all about you, and then when you start letting it go and like really be about somebody else, it just opens so much for you. It's crazy.
Yeah. So true, brother. So true.
I love that.
I agree. I got to ask this one question, and then I will get into something else. Out of all, I know it's like off topic, it's going back. Beautiful story. Beautiful human being you are. But out of all of your out of everyone you've tattooed, who's your favorite artist? Because you've tattooed everybody.
I would have to say Nas.
Nas.
My daughter was a year old. She's 26. So his daughter was a year old. So we're sitting, here I am, I have gold teeth in my mouth. My whole mouth was gold at the time. And we're sitting outside the studio. And my boss was supposed to originally tattoo him. So we're sitting and we're talking. And he's waiting because my boss was tattooing somebody else at the time. And they brought him there. So as we're talking and stuff, he's like, man, you know what? I want you to do my tattoo. I'm like, that's going to bring problems with me and my boss. He's like, no, I want you to do the tattoo. I'll talk to him. So as I'm asking him, what does he want to do? And it was his daughter. It was his daughter's name and the cross and the crown and stuff. And her name was Destiny. And as I'm doing it, I'm telling him about my daughter. She was one at a time. He says, call her. Call your wife, tell her to bring her over. I never used to bring my kids to the tattoo shop. It's not a place for kids, but I was like, you know what? I called her, and he went, and he was so humble. He took a picture with her, so the picture that I have of him is him holding my daughter at 1 year old and me and stuff like that.
Cool.
That's dope. And
Yeah,
Nas
so
is
it
one
was
of
a bond. It was
yeah,
like,
Nas is one of the best
yeah,
ever.
yeah, yeah.
That's a dope story. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Now, I was supposed to tattoo Tupac September 27th, and he died September 13th.
Oh,
I actually was supposed to tattoo him before that. But what ended up happening was Luke was bringing him down for a concert called How Can I Be Down?
From Two Life Crew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was bringing him down, and a thing that he used to throw in Miami called How Can I Be Down? It was around Memorial Day weekend and stuff like that. And what happened was Pac was filming the movie, Bullet at the time.
I remember that with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
So we got delayed while he was shooting the movie. He got delayed. He never made it down. Then he went to the Tyson fight.
Yeah.
And then
That was that.
y'all know the story from there.
Wow. Crazy.
So I still have his drawing and everything because Carrie Barbara from Outer Limit Tattoos in California, she was the original one that worked on his back with a cross. Her artist Clark as well did the drama faces in the back that he had. So I was gonna separate heaven and hell through that because I used to do a lot of religious tattoos. That was
dope.
my thing. So I was gonna do a piece, heavens on the top and the hell on the bottom.
For Pac.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, through his cross.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That's dope.
Phenomenal. You're definitely making off for me. We got to figure it out. I want your piece in my house.
got
Something with my life. You know what I mean? We'll figure it out. 100%.
Definitely.
No, I want it. I need
Definitely.
it.
I got you.
100%. Yes.
Promise you I got you.
That's awesome.
We got to figure out one for him too.
Yeah, he's got a story. Forget about it. You know? Yeah, we all do.
I love
I just
art.
met you today, but I feel the energy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And I feel it from you too. It's Frank has not let me down, and when he talks about the people he's bringing in, and you've got that, you've got the humility that so many people lack. There's a lot of people out there that have it, but a lot of people don't, especially with your history and the people that you have had access to. So I appreciate you being here, and
I appreciate you having me.
Amazing story, brother.
Yeah, I'm always blown away by the resiliency of human beings and what we're capable of, especially when, and it seems that the catalyst is always pain, some form of pain, whether it be mental suffering, physical suffering, right? And it sounds to me that your stories fits with all the great ones that I've heard that align with this like process of being broken down. Was there any point where you were like mentally, you might not have, you didn't do it, but where you were like, I'm done, like I don't want to do this yet?
I've had moments of that, and that was before I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like a man.
Yeah.
When my wife had to take off my clothes or walk me inside my house, my kids, carrying me with my wife because my wife alone couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Those things, I felt like a burden. But I was still the breadwinner. So I couldn't, and I thought a million and one ways of how I was going to do it, whether it was pills or drugs or go off the car or something. I thought so many ways, and I always found myself I couldn't find a way to do it.
I really appreciate you saying that. I think often what happens is people are they're focused on the story of the comeback and they don't want to talk about. But I think a lot of people listening need to hear like there's these amazing stories out there, but we all go through it. Right? Like I tell people all the time, like we've created this thing at Emotion, and I mean I was in a Whataburger parking lot right before I built this place and had a pistol, you know what I mean? So it was like there's these moments in our life that change us, or we a near miss, right? You almost. And not enough people, I think, and we also do this, right? We look at someone else and say, oh, I can never be me, or I don't have that. And so sharing that vulnerability is really important for the people. I know the ones that we have in our community, because it looks like, oh, he did all this, you look at Frank and his energy and what he went through, and you hear your story, and all people will focus on is like what it took to get through it. And they might not resonate with that. It'll give them hope, but a lot of people will resonate with the wanting to give up. Like, oh, you did too? Yeah. Okay, you really want it. Okay, great. It makes
and dude, and for me, for the audience, when I was in the hospital, I had my human. I had the times of down, I'm sure you did too, of sadness, of like, why is this happening to me? Like, what is this gonna look like? But thank God, thank God for my circle, for the people that saw me when my wife that said, you're a warrior. You're going to come out 10X on this. Thank God for that, bro. Thank God for my brothers.
Yeah,
Thank
I saw
God
the
for
Superman
people,
cape and everything
bro.
when you came out of there.
Yeah, and I was like, let's go.
Let's go.
Thank God for Chris Martin. We got to get him on the podcast because he got me the Superman cape. He got the first call with me when they found out when I was going up to Temple, Texas. He was the first line of defense because he does the ECMO machine. That's the most advanced form of life support that they were going to put me on. Shout out Chris Martin. He got me the Superman cape. We got to get him on the podcast.
Shout out Chris.
You know what you have him talk to is Lars too, because Lars has that art nonprofit.
Yeah, out in Arizona.
Yeah, so remind me.
That'd be dope.
I'm sure it might be something you're interested in. So.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Now, in 2009, I'll tell you, I lost my mentor, Rob G. He put a gun and blew his head off.
Oh, wow.
He had mental health issues, and it had a lot to do with the women in his life. He just, he was had babies from this woman and the other woman, and he was always paying, but never being able to see his kids or spend time. They would hold it against him because of his celebrity status or whatever. And they just wanted him for himself, all to themselves. So, not all women are like that, but, these particular women were like that. So it got to the point that he secluded himself from everybody. He was almost like bipolar. He ended up having a lot of low self-esteem and issues mentally, where he pulled away from everybody, and he moved away to Orlando and opened up a shop in Orlando. And then when he was in Orlando, he didn't have the same circle that he had with us down in Miami. And what ended up happening was they weren't really there for him. A lot of people are there for just whatever they can get out of you, the money and the fame or whatever. And he got tired of fighting. He had come back. He had done a tour in Bahamas, and he had come back that night. He had seen the same lady, because he's the one that helped me open my shop up. So the same lady that he would use to do the flyers, she used to do the flyers for me as well. And he had gone over to her shop in Miami, from the Bahamas to Miami. He had set up for new flyers or whatever. And the lady told me that he then got a phone call, and he was arguing with one of his baby mamas over the thing. He drove back to Orlando that night. He tattooed one of my close friends. I had set up the appointment for him. He had done a tribal. After he did the body tribal that he had on him, he went and called his barber. 1:00 in the morning, his barber came to him, clipped him up, and he went home. 1:36 in the morning, I believe it was. Cops went out to his house because his alarm went off, but they didn't see no forced entry. They didn't see anything. So they just left a note on the door. We were here, blah, blah, blah. And they left. And nobody could get a hold of him. And he wasn't a person that would ignore your phone calls if you're doing business with him and stuff like that. And they went into his house through his garage. His ex-girlfriend at the time, the one that he was arguing with, went into the garage, and he was sitting in the living room. He had shot himself with an AK-47. The bullet transferred through the roof, and that's what set off the alarm.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lost him. Yeah, in 2009. So that was a big eye-opener for me, because I actually, since we were close and our circles were close, I got to see the pain that his children and the people in his circle went through. So that was like, in the back of my mind, it was always there. Even though I had the thoughts, in the back of my mind, I was like, look at this guy.
It was almost like a
He was
lesson.
on top of the world.
Yeah. We just had a guy on here who was talking about that, and he had a moment where it was like he realized that this pain that I'm going to escape right now by pulling the trigger it's not going anywhere. It's going to get transferred to my family.
Yeah.
And it's such a good point. So, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Was that, I imagine that was difficult for you. Like, how did you respond to that at that time? Because you were dealing with a bunch of stuff on your own as well. So.
I was living in North Florida myself at the time, and I went to his funeral, but I didn't go to a burial. I spoke in his funeral, and I brought everybody, the stuff that, we had such an amazing connection. It's crazy. And I couldn't see him. Like, for me, he's still alive. It's like he's in another state, and mentally I talk to him. I know it sounds crazy.
No, it's not. He's here with you, brother. Brother, he's here. We don't die, my
thoughts,
dude.
And I see situations that I've been in that were similar that me and him been in together, and it's like he pulls me out of them. So it's weird how the transfer of energy from people you are really close to really sinking into your body is strange. And you could have told me this 10 years ago, and I would have said, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, I agree. And that makes a lot of sense to me. I had the guy who helped me get sober had a rare complication. He had HIV. And so he got diagnosed like way early. Like he was like one of the first groups of people.
My brother.
And so, it was like in late 80s or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he had this thing called PML. And so it was like this bacteria that eats away at the brain. So he would lose, like you'd be talking to him and he'd be normal. And then he would be like, where's my clothes? But he would have his clothes on. And so I got the call. I was living in Tucson. He lived in San Diego. And I got the call that it was like, hey, it's not going to be long. So we drove out there. And it was beautiful. And I think about like God and moments. So he was basically going out of his mind, right? And I didn't want to go. I was young and I was newly sober. But I went, and for 4 hours, I went up to his room. And for 4 hours, it was like, God came down and said, no sickness. We just had a 4-hour talk. And it was like clear, sane, rational. And then I left. And then as soon as
he went right back.
Mm-hmm. It was wild.
Amazing.
It was like the universe just paused. You know what I mean? This healing came down and said, I'm going to give you guys this moment. And it's crazy because I haven't thought of this in years. He said something to me. It was the moment I decided I needed to do my own thing. It took me 20 years to do it, but that's another story.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But I remember him saying to me, he said, you're a thoroughbred and she has you plowing the fields. And it just resonated with me. It was like, because I was working for a woman who I didn't respect and I don't,
Yeah.
And he just said, yeah, you're a thoroughbred. You need to be on the racetrack and you're out in the field plowing and it's just not the right position for you. And that's when I realized, I have to do this thing, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love thanks for bringing that to me because I think the conversation helped to bring
it does. I love these conversations.
Well, my brother died of HIV, 1995.
Oh, wow.
And what were you saying about PML? That's exactly what ended up happening with him was he went blind first, then he lost his legs. Once he got bedridden, it was over from there.
Yeah.
But it was like you were saying, he would have conversations one moment, and he knew everybody in the house and stuff, and the next moment it was like he had dementia. He didn't remember anything.
It's wild. It's like that. That's a good way to a good analogy. Yeah, it was wild. I hadn't thought about that in years. This room's cool, man. We bring
It brings up so much cool stuff,
Right.
great
Love
connections,
the
and
conversation.
you know, we got Kristen back there. No one knows, but
This
she's
is
here.
day one.
You're gonna be on my social.
She's the new engineer.
Let's go.
You did an amazing job too. By
You
the way.
did great.
Yeah.
Shout out, Kristen.
You're doing amazing.
Oh, I know. I don't want to screw this up. No.
You're doing great.
I tend to do that, so people.
You can't screw it.
No, I was
It's
gonna tell them,
amazing.
like, yeah, you're going to be great. So, and we don't know what the fuck we're doing anyway. We just
No one does.
You know what
No
we're
one
doing?
does in life.
We're actually just being genuine, hoping that somebody that can relate to what we're saying can take something from it
my man.
and inspire.
Yeah.
Inspiration, brother. That's why we went through what we went through, to be able to serve on a grander scale. That's why you went through what you went through.
Yeah.
Look at all the beautiful things you're doing now for all these kids.
Yeah.
Look at all the beautiful things. Look at the resilience that you show your children.
Oh,
Well,
Just-
yeah, what an example, right?
no. And,
What an example, brother.
And taking in your parents, that was a big example for my kids because now they know they got to take care of me.
You set the bar high. I was gonna say though, on a serious note, I'm pretty particular with the respect that I hand out because it's just how I am, and lots of respect for so many people don't take that responsibility. What you did, right? They don't stick with their parents. We just had a conversation about treating people, and the aging population is one of the most forgotten. Just put them somewhere, kind of forget about them. And there's not this like process as prevalent in our society anymore where people are taking care of them, or they do it spitefully, or they don't want to do it, or they're pushing it off on relatives.
Yeah, they
or-
push it off.
So mad respect for you and then you were able to have what I felt was an absolutely beautiful moment with your father, right? Like tragic to lose him, but man, what a gift!
God, beautiful.
Let
bro.
me tell
Oh.
you, my mom that I lost last week, right? I felt it come. She started declining. I told my kids that I had an event that I had to do in Vegas Wednesday. She died on a Tuesday. I was scared. I already had her in hospice. And I was scared that I was gonna have to go do this event. And then she was gonna pass away while I was gone. So I came back and I told my kids, listen, we're gonna go see grandma, and be with her and this and that. She was holding on the whole time. She saw my kids. We were there maybe 6 hours we spent with her that Tuesday. As soon as we left, we got the call 2 hours after we left. It's like she said goodbye.
Yeah, it's wild how that works.
My dad
And-
did the same thing.
And people tell me, oh, well, why are you not so sad or that? One, she's not suffering. Because towards the end, she was suffering really bad. And it's hard to see somebody like that you love.
Yeah, it is.
Second of all is I have no guilt. I did everything
amazing.
possible for her, my dad, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. Both my mother and my mother-in-law died of dementia. My mother-in-law died of Alzheimer's. My father-in-law had a heart attack towards the end. And my father, of course, he had a diabetic coma, which is almost similar to the heart attack.
That freedom, that being guilt free.
Yeah.
That's,
It feels great.
yeah. Clear
Knowing
conscience.
you can possibly do everything in your possible, and that's when I learned also with them is I learned there, and myself as well. There's no money in the world can bring you back. So those things that we keep chasing, they keep running from, and we don't understand why we keep chasing them. Instead, now, like I said, when you do stuff with purpose, you attract.
Yes.
and now it comes to us in a whole nother circle.
It always comes around, right? The alignment.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's what he and I talk about a lot. Is just
Beautiful.
doing it with the right people for the right reasons
Yeah.
Purpose
and
driven
having a bunch of fun along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're
And you
doing.
meet some
That's what we're doing.
amazing.
Yeah.
You meet some amazing warriors.
Absolutely.
Right here, bro.
Yeah.
He's a warrior too.
Yeah, yeah,
like
no.
a true American hero. Pat Tillman Scholar Award winner, 10-year Air Force.
Wow.
Yeah. He don't talk about it. I'm like his promoter.
Frank's my hype man. So.
I am. And one of the smartest people I ever
There's-
met in my life.
I don't know if you saw on my Instagram. There's a girl out of California. They poisoned her with the injections. They
COVID?
forced her. I guess it was COVID. They forced her to get the injections when she said that she didn't want them, but they wouldn't treat her if she didn't get. She almost died
From the vaccine?
Robert F. Kennedy is part in Junior. He's part helping her or whatever. So one of my good friends, Jimmy Levy. I don't know if you guys.
I know Jimmy. I know
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah, that's really good.
He's a
friend of mine.
singer.
Yeah.
Big singer. Yeah.
So he reached out to me. You know, we're good, and I made her a jacket. He was going to visit her and, you know, bring her back in her spirits and stuff. So I did God's Strongest Warrior on the back, and I had Jesus hugging her. You know, I did the
badass,
back piece, and then her name Alexis, and her last name on the sleeve.
dope,
And it's,
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has something to do with him because he's been fighting for her, got her the medical treatments that she needed and stuff like that.
RFK.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but I mean, brother, I don't talk about it a lot, but I mean, I'm like 99% sure that the vaccine killed my heart.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it was all God's plan. We're here. We're the light workers.
Oh, you know how many people are, especially women, are having problems with their menstrual cycle
Oh, yeah.
and the blood
No,
clots
of course.
that they're getting
Yeah.
from all those.
Of course. Yeah,
That's a whole nother show.
it's a whole nother show.
I just heard
It's a
somebody.
whole nother show. But shout out Jimmy.
Shout
Jimmy
out
Levy, bro.
Jimmy Levy.
Yeah, Jimmy Levy, bro. Levy. I love his music.
Yeah,
I met
he's
him
awesome.
I met him at Aspire tour.
Yeah,
in the VIP. Yeah. Yeah, good
he's
guy.
a really good
Great-
friend of mine.
Great guy. He does a
Yeah.
lot with the administration. He sings a lot for Trump. He sang at, I think, the inauguration.
Yeah, inauguration. He did it for RFK.
That's right. Yeah. Amazing.
With your work right now, that your children and painting, just as we looking towards the future, do you have you like a goal in mind, or is there like something that you're working towards with all of it?
I just want to help people.
Yeah.
I help myself by helping others because I learn from their journey. It teaches me along my journey, things to be appreciated of, things to be grateful for. We take for granted a lot of things on a daily basis. I'm not a perfect guy. I take for granted a lot of things, throughout my years and stuff. But now I'm being more gracious and seeing really the importance of life where before I didn't see it.
yeah.
Would you be down for another visit? We fly you in and do one of your master classes at our center with our
Yeah,
clients?
absolutely.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Get Lars out here to video the whole thing.
Be dope.
Be phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We could do we'll throw a party, man. We'll have we'll do a master class and do like a speaking thing, and we'll have
We should get like
For me, it's more about the kids and the people. I mean, they don't have to be kids; they can be adults as well. But I just want to help.
we have an amazing population.
yeah. It'd be dope.
Really big hearts.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. You get
No, man. I mean, where can we find you? Like, where could the audience find you?
Richard_Peace PIS_ Ricky G.
Where? IG?
IG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or Richard Peace in Facebook.
Okay.
Whatever. And same thing as TikTok and all that.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
I have a link in my in my bio. I have a link on my IG, and you can go through all my platforms.
Awesome.
I also got www.artbyrickyg.com.
Dope. That's where people could buy art from you?
Yeah, not yet. Right now I'm setting that part out, but yeah.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
It's in
brother,
construction.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, bro. Thank you for sharing your testimony. What a great story. I mean, phenomenal human being. What a amazing spirit, man.
Same with you,
Just
man.
so grateful.
You've inspired me like you don't understand, man.
Really, my brother.
Your fight is really inspiring. And Jimmy and I's connection is a song called Amen.
Yeah.
So in that song, he talks about, Jesus says it ain't your time.
Yeah.
Rise up,
Another song.
And I'll leave you another story for him another time, but he has a really amazing story.
I need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell him he'll come.
Tell him to come.
Yeah. He'll come.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, my man.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
you, man.
Yeah. God
It's
bless.
been an honor, man.
Thank you for connecting with us on today's episode of the Emotion Podcast, where we discuss all things mental health. Connect every week as we explore incredibly intimate stories of persistence and hope. Delve into mental health education and explore valuable resources. Available on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And visit emotionwellness.com for more information.